Now, in a continuous vibration of system, last time we have seen transverse vibration of a string, and for this string the wave equation was derived. Del square y by del t square upon del square y by del x square, where c is wave speed. Okay, by keeping this in mind, today we are going to understand the concept of longitudinal vibration of a beam, where I have drawn a beam, one elementary strip or elementary area dx I have taken, whose length is dx and width is something, and load offered on this side is P, and obviously on this side it is P plus del P by del x into dx. Okay, now as load is offered on both the side, the dx elementary strip is now going to be displaced by amount u. Okay, now applying Newton's second law. So force sigma F is equal to mass into acceleration. So force, this P is on the negative side and this load is on the positive x side. Okay, so this is minus P plus del P by del x dx is equal to, now mass acceleration. Acceleration is what? Acceleration is, displacement is u. So del square u upon del t square. Acceleration part is here. Mass, density rho is mass upon meter cube volume. So that is dx into area. Now replace mass by rho dx area. Rho dx area. Now we have minus P and plus P, they are nullified. Now load is equal to, or stress sigma equal to load upon area. We have area term here, that's why P is to be replaced by stress sigma into area. So we are going to replace P by sigma area. Therefore del sigma sigma area is constant, so del x dx area is equal to rho dx area del square u by del t square, area dx. Okay, now stress sigma del stress by del x. So stress is to be replaced such that, so the final outcome is del sigma by del x is equal to rho del square u by del t square. Now to go up to the wave equation, we need second order partial differentiation with respect to time as a numerator, and in the denominator we need these portions. Okay, so let us keep this aside and use or apply the concept of Hooke's law. So what Hooke's law says, stress is directly proportional to strain and the proportionality is removed by modulus of elasticity. So stress is equal to E into, this is important, stress is what? Or strain is what? Del U by del X. Del U by del X. Now let us replace stress by E constant and del U by del X. We are going to put it here so that this equation will be del into E. E is constant, so it will come out first. E del square U by del X square is equal to rho del square U by del T square. Therefore, E by rho is equal to del square U by del T square, numerator part, and denominator part is del square U by del X square. So this is nothing but C square. So here for longitudinal vibration, so C square is equal to E by rho. Numerator is modulus of elasticity, denominator is rho, that is density. And this C square or C is nothing but velocity of propagation of stress or displacement. Okay. So while in the earlier case for wave equation where both the ends were fixed and elastic string was taken, in that case the wave speed was forced by rho, while in this case it is E by rho. So this is the difference between these two cases firstly. Second, the force is different, the motion is different one. In the earlier case, for elastic string, we have considered standing wave where the string is moving in the xy plane itself, while here longitudinal vibration, the body is moving in the longitudinal direction or along the load axis. Okay. Now, for the previous case, that is of transverse vibration case, we have considered boundary condition, both ends fixed. In that case, we got natural frequency omega n equal to n pi c upon L. Today we are going to discuss some different boundary condition, that is one end fixed and other end free. Okay, the overall length is L. Now this displacement, the load will be applied in this direction as it is a longitudinal vibration case. X equal to 0 location, x equal to L location. Now the boundary condition, first of all we should know the boundary conditions. The first boundary condition is U x t. Instead of x, if we put 0, that means at fixed end, 0t, we have 0 displacement, and slope at the end, del u by del x, at the end, that means length L, time t, it is also 0. Okay, by keeping these two in our mind, we are going to find out the solution of. Now the solution, generalized solution is u x t is equal to fx and gt. Function of, first of all let us write down this gt format, that is the solution for the with respect to time, a sin omega t plus b cos omega t and function of x c1 sin omega by c x plus c2 cos omega by c x. These two are in multiplication. Okay, now let us put the boundary condition one by one. When we put u 0 t, that means in place of x 0, then in place of x 0 sine function, this is 0 0, that means c2 should be 0, then and then entire answer will be 0, because this will remain as it is. So to make this second term 0, c2 must be 0. So from first condition we are getting c2 0, and from the second condition, that means in place of x when we put L time as it is, so there is no alteration in the first term, L and L. C2 is 0, so the second term is nullified, so C1 sin omega L by C. Okay, therefore omega sin omega L by C is equal to 0. Clear? These conditions are for now here this second term was present when both ends were fixed considered. That's why we are getting omega L by C equal to pi and finally omega n equal to n pi C by L equation. But here the condition is different one. One end is fixed and the second one is free. Okay, that's why we need differentiation with respect to partial differentiation with respect to x. So we are supposed to differentiate these equation with respect to x for the second condition. Now this is what we are getting with the help of first boundary condition. Now to apply second boundary condition, first of all we are supposed to differentiate it, partially differentiate it with x. So let us differentiate this with respect to x. So this will become the differentiation will be del u by del x Lt is equal to a sin omega t plus b cos omega t into first one c1 sin, it will be its differentiation is cos omega by cx into omega plus c2 minus sin omega by cx into omega. Okay, now let us put the value 0 instead of x. Let us put L and the answer is 0. So C2 is already 0, so there is no need to think about the second term. The first term, that is C1 cos of omega L by C omega is equal to 0, and cosine function will be 0 when the answer is pi by 2, 3 pi by 2, 5 pi by 2, etc. Okay, therefore the omega L by C is 1 plus half pi by n plus half pi by 2, where n is 0, 1, 2, etc. When we put 0, it is simply pi by n plus half pi by, not pi by 2, there is no need of 2 in the denominator, n plus half pi. So when we put 0, it is pi by 2. When we put 1, it is again pi by 2. So 2, it is 2 plus 2, it is n minus half. N minus half. So from here, the final answer is natural frequency is equal to n minus half pi c upon L. So this is the global equation of natural frequency when the beam is under the influence of longitudinal force and one of the end is fixed, that is cantilever situation. Now when we put n equal to 1, we are getting first mode frequency and first mode shape. N equal to 2, second mode shape, and n equal to 3, third mode shape, third frequency. Let us find out different mode shapes with the help of this equation. And C is already known to us. C is equal to square root E upon rho. It was determined earlier. C is equal to square root E by rho. While in case of transverse vibration, it is F by rho, square root F by rho. So first mode shape is, this is neutral line, and first mode shape n equal to 1. The frequency is when n equal to 1, first mode shape. Natural frequency is pi by 2 CL. Okay, and this is the mode shape, and this is what initial displacement u0. So this is first mode shape. Likewise, second mode shape as usual. Second mode shape n equal to 2, simply put n equal to 2, so 2 to the 4 minus 1 is 3 by 2, so 3 pi by 2, omega n is equal to 3 pi by 2 C by L. Okay, natural frequency here it is C upon L. So likewise we are able to find out n number of mode shapes and natural frequencies.